Hi there, Emma Drew here, and welcome to another episode of Confessions of a YouTuber, the podcast that makes YouTube simple and gets up close and personal with successful YouTube creators, helping you understand what it takes to grow your YouTube channel the easy way. I'd like to thank TubeBuddy for sponsoring today's show. TubeBuddy is a free browser extension that helps you easily manage and optimize your YouTube channel. It's the YouTube channel tool I personally can't live without. For more information, head over to tubebuddy.com or check out their link in the show notes below. I'd like to introduce today a very special guest. He started when he was 13 and he's still going with his channel, which is experiencing so much success at the moment. I'm delighted to introduce you to Luke from Miffed Crew. Hi, Luke, are you there?
Hey there, how's it going?
So, I've just been looking at your channel. It's called Miffed Crew, and you've got nearly 330,000 subscribers, and I think you've actually got over 100 million views. Is that right?
Yes, some of my videos have over 1 million views, and I am very grateful for that.
That is amazing. You must be pretty proud of yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about your channel and what it's all about?
I most certainly can. So on my YouTube channel, I do 3D animations of a video game called Five Nights at Freddy's. And Five Nights at Freddy's, it is a horror game. However, my animations, they're the opposite to horror. Baby versions of the animatronics, that's what I am known for.
So are they comedy?
Cute and comedy.
Cute and comedy?
Yeah.
So, do you actually make the stories up, or do you animate yourself?
I do both, really. I make the stories. So what I do is that I come up with a story, I take inspiration, and I brainstorm them, and then I just animate the story that I came up with and that I've captured down on notes, really. And the story that I come up with is what goes on the final project.
Wow. So how long does it take you to create a video? Say, for example, if one video that's about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something like that?
Yes, it takes quite a long time here. My animations usually range from around 4 minutes to 5-6 minutes on average here. They used to be shorter. It takes a very long time here. Like on average, it takes around a month just to produce one animation here, and that is a very big struggle for me because I always get told that in order to do well on YouTube, you've got to be active. Well, yeah, a monthly activity is hard to stay active on a monthly schedule.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and
so how do you overcome that then? I mean, you're doing so well.
Yeah, like I think how I overcome that really is like it's because I have my audience come for a particular subject on my channel, which is a series on my channel I have made called Baby Foxy, and what Baby Foxy is that because they get a lot of good attention here, it causes people to keep on coming back for much the same videos, I guess, and like rewatch time and watch time and all those sorts of things here. And because the videos that are currently out there that have done well, even if they're like a year or two old, they continue to still do well to this day. I actually get most of my comments still on a video I uploaded back in 2018, 17, quite a long time ago.
Well, so it's really worth putting the effort in because it's sort of evergreen. Yeah. People are coming back again and again and again. So tell me a bit more about Baby Foxy. Who's that? Is that a character you've made up?
More about Baby Foxy. So it's kind of a character I have made up. So basically, Baby Foxy is a baby version of a character from Five Nights at Freddy's called Foxy. So I, in effect, made him a baby as well as all the other characters in the game into babies as well. And, well, not all the other characters. I mean, there's a lot of characters here. And animating every single character as babies, it ain't going to be an easy job. So I'll just stick with around 6 of them here and stick with that here. When it comes to the character, like how Baby Foxy and the other babies interact with each other, what they behave like, all those sorts of things here, I have made the characters in that sense here. So I've made the characters, yes, in what they do, how they interact with others, and and what their attitudes are like. But when it comes to the actual looks of them themselves, like the designs and all that, I haven't really. So
where do the designs come from then?
They come from the original creator of the game here, and when I animate the characters, I animate using models that people have tried to replicate from the game of the characters. That makes sense. So basically, how it works is that people make models of the characters here, and
you animate them.
I animate them basically. Yeah.
And so, tell me a bit about SFM. That's a program that you use, is it, to animate? Am I right?
Yeah. Source Filmmaker, SFM for short. That's what I use. Basically, what it is that it is an animating program, so you can make animations, obviously. However, what it does have is a dedicated community where people create their own environments for you to animate in, and they also create their own characters for you to use in your projects as well. And that's basically what I do. Most of the environments I use are environments that people have created, and all of the characters that I use are characters that people have created or recreated for me to use in my projects.
Oh, wow. And do you have to give them credit in the description or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I give them credit, yeah. I always like to credit here, like specifically the music, but I also try and credit as many models as possible also.
Actually, I remember we met at VidCon London, didn't we, recently? And I remember we were all chatting. There was a bunch of us I think we were with James from Odd Ones Out, and I think Rebecca Parham. But we were having quite a good chat about the length of time that animation takes to create. And James from Odd Ones Out was actually saying he's got a whole team now doing it for him. Do you see that the future for you?
I'm not sure, really. It's one of those things that I've always wanted to be a bit of a solo guy, really. However, there are a few benefits that I could get from a team that may be otherwise inaccessible to me, like a strong brand logo, a good channel banner, and also things like, and of course, a logo and a channel banner. If it was to be really stylized by an artist, let's say, then this would really help with merchandise here. Especially because, in effect, I am doing fan creations on the video game. I can't really sell merch of it here. However, if I was to get a good artist who does work, then I could, in effect, say be more original with my branding and all that. So I think one day in the future, I really ought to get an artist at least here. But generally speaking, I try to solo it as much as possible here. That's just me, though. It's just a little thing I have. I like to say.
So actually, that makes me think about sort of how you finance your work and how you monetize your channel. And are there other ways in which you can build, sort of bring in revenue like merchandise and that kind of thing with your channel? Is that something that you're doing or thinking about doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very limited to what I can do when it comes to a merch or other sorts of revenue. I heard there are other things out there outside of merch for getting revenue, like Patreon, Super Chat, and all of that. I personally like to be very careful, though. Like, I don't really think it's right for my particular audience, because a lot of them are kids around the ages of 7 to 15, around there, let's say.
Right, and, they're quite young, actually.
Yeah, and I kind of feel bad, me being a 19-year-old, basically asking kids, in effect, for money. Hey, kids, give me your money.
Yeah, maybe there could be a more subtle way of doing it. Kids, ask your parents to get you this for Christmas or your birthday.
Miffed Crew shirt, right? Yeah. So, I mean, merchandise I don't object to, but get this Miffed Crew Super Chat.
Well, there are other ways, aren't there? Like perhaps getting a brand deal, or have you ever considered doing brand deals, or have you ever had any experience with brands?
I actually heard that brand deals are a very good way to make money. It's something I really want to get into more. It's one of those things that I don't fully know how to go about it. I've been to multiple workshops at the YouTube space,
right?
Brand Jam events where we meet up with other brands.
Have they been helpful?
They've been good. Yeah, I've gotten a deal with Elgato, and that's been helpful. They gave me their green screen.
Oh, fantastic!
And I also may have got a half deal with PlayStation that didn't really go anywhere. So I'm not sure, but I have had some experiences, but I never really know how you get to the stage from approaching a brand to having brand deals as part of your revenue. It's something I'm still struggling with to this day, really.
Yeah,
I would like to learn about it, though.
Well, I don't think you're alone there. I think a lot of people are struggling with that because I think a lot of the time the brands don't quite understand the amount of work that's involved as a YouTuber and the value that you have just being a creator and what you produce. And I think creators are so busy because they're wearing so many hats creating their videos that they don't actually have time to do that kind of persistent emailing and chasing up, and which is actually in effect business development, and they really don't have time to do that. So I think that's why a lot of the time things don't get anywhere. And this is perhaps why a lot of people are choosing to use, there's a new brand of YouTube managers and out there. But I mean, again, with that, you have to be very careful who you use because, that's still quite new and it's still the Wild West. So you want to make sure if you do go down that road that you do find reputable people to work with. But it's an area that's growing. So certainly one of the things I've heard is literally if there's companies that you would like to work with and you feel that your channel aligns with, then you can approach them directly. You literally have to call them up and speak to someone in their PR department usually, or marketing department, and then take it from there. So if you or somebody else in your team or somebody else who supports you does that. But a lot of creators are facing that struggle. And like I say, time is so precious as a YouTuber, isn't it? Especially as you, I know that you're still at school or college, aren't you now?
I'm at college, yeah. Time management I really struggle with. It's actually the main issue I have. One of the main issues I struggle with here is time management.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what age did you start your channel, Luke?
I started Miffed Crew when I was 14 years old here.
Wow. And how old are you now?
I am now 19 years old here.
Wow. So you're a pro kid YouTuber. You've been through it all. You started at such a young age, a long time ago. That's when YouTube was growing up as well. So you grew up with YouTube. How do you feel things have changed for you over that time as a YouTuber and as an artist and creator?
I think it's changed for me. I've gotten a lot of experiences with, how YouTube works, what to do, what not to do on YouTube. I've also, developed my practical skills, developed my methods on how to go about doing a YouTube channel. Yeah, I guess it's just being all good experiences. Really, I think I definitely learned how hard being a YouTuber can really be here because I think it's an interpretation that from the public eye, YouTube might not look as hard as it is, basically, and it's really difficult. It's an intense job.
And what do you find the most difficult thing? Is it the time management, do you think?
Yeah, I think time management is one of the main things I struggle with, definitely here now. I think I also learned along the way with YouTube that it's always very important to know your community here and your audience because, if you're uploading content and you're getting a lot of kiddies then, and all of a sudden you start uploading Grand Theft Auto, then those kiddies ain't going to stick around, let's put it that way. I think it's just also purely understanding what your audience are mainly coming for here, what identifies you as a creator here, and what you can deliver more on based on based on the face of your channel, in effect, that is determined by your audience.
Yeah, so how do you actually engage with your audience?
I engage with my audience through replying to comments here and there. I usually upload a video and respond to the comments on the video within the first 24 hours. If anyone comes to me for help with something they're struggling with using Source Filmmaker, which is the program I use to make my animations, I'll often respond to them here. And I also keep an eye out for those who are actively supporting my channel as well here. I have quite a few of them here, and every time they communicate with me, I always be sure to love that comment and respond to that comment as soon as possible. And
what does your community give you personally? How does it make you feel? Yeah.
It makes me feel good, really. I'm very pleased to have grown this community here. Being able to... I find it quite funny because... Father Face is a horror game here, but they clearly ain't here for horror. They're here for the cute and funny side of it here, and it makes me feel happy, and it kind of makes me feel responsible also because there's a lot of kiddies on my channel here, and they're coming to my content and giving me all the support really, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, what would you like to say to them if they were listening to this?
I'll probably say the generic thank you as YouTubers do.
Yeah.
I think what I'll say is that I'd say that it's great to be animating for you crewmates here. You crewmates have changed my life so much here.
Yeah.
I'm sounding very generic.
Yeah. No, that's great. It's just that you sound so passionate about your community. And I
Definitely,
think you and a lot of YouTubers I meet feel really like this kind of, it's a really special kind of love to their community. It's like they're everything. They mean everything, and they would never want to promote anything that didn't align with them. Their community comes first. It really sounds like that from you, that you're doing this for them. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, if I didn't have my audiences, then I probably wouldn't be doing YouTube. I probably wouldn't have stopped it a long time ago.
Well, yeah, but I can see that your channel's been growing exponentially in the last few months, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, and I'm really grateful for that here. It's just like really weird as well because you start off in 2014 here, and no, I kind of would have thought that I would have had my peak of YouTube already here, but I think my peak is getting bigger and bigger as time goes on, really, and it's quite amazing to look at. Really is incredible.
Well, I think with more and more people coming onto YouTube, it looks like things are set to continue to grow. And now that you've done all that work, your channel will continue to grow. So, I suppose we could start to sit back and enjoy some of what that brings, and the pleasure you're giving to other people will continue. So, you should be really proud of yourself, and just like to congratulate you on the growth of your channel, which is amazing. I'm really, really chuffed for you. Obviously, you know that this podcast is called Confessions of the YouTuber. Have you got any confessions for us?
So what secrets of confessions do I have here?
You don't have to be too explicit.
No, I actually got a confession to make that I think my audience will find interesting. And before Baby Foxy came along here, well, not before Baby Foxy, but I remember my audience knew me for Baby Foxy. I was the face of Baby Foxy basically here. And eventually my stats were going down and down and down until eventually I was getting like 10 subscribers a day, 20 subscribers a day, and I was actually really worried in case it was coming close to an end for me on YouTube then. And then I uploaded another Baby Foxy, and I guess a bit of luck had it, or that, and I just really put all my hard work into it also. But ever since I uploaded that video, it has blown up, and I was getting like 100 subscribers a day, which is really big for me back then. I never got 100 subscribers a day at the time. This was like back in 2017, I think, around there too.
Yes.
And, yeah, I mean, for that video, I think it in effect revived my channel here. And
when was that? Just last year, was it?
Last year, year before. I can't remember the exact date, but it's now almost the most popular video on my channel here. So
and that's called Baby Foxy, is it?
Baby Foxy Bad Impression.
I see. Okay. Well, I'll put links to that particular video in the podcast show notes below when we finish. And so it was because of that video, which I think has got about 15 million views. Is that right? So with that one video, that viral video, and did you mean for that to be a viral video, or did you just get on with your normal video making efforts and then uploaded it and then this happened? Was it a surprise to you?
I just did what I did, really. Like, I find it particularly ironic here because it was one of those videos that I didn't go as smoothly as others here. The video originally looked very generic here, and I wasn't happy at all with the story. So I took a beginning stage of the video, despite working on it for a month, and just reanimated it from there. And for some reason, that took a week to make. Why could it have taken a week for the rest of the animating ideas? I don't know.
Well, this is obviously a very special video.
Yeah, and it's interesting also because it had a difference behind the scenes of it here than most of my content did here, and it seems to have done very well because of that. I don't really understand it myself, to be honest, but yeah, I guess.
So then, after that video, did you find that your other videos were starting to get, you were catching that momentum with your other videos as you uploaded?
It's hard to tell for sure, actually. I think it definitely raised my profile with me and Baby Foxy and Cute and Comedy or Five Nights at Freddy's here. And I think if it wasn't for that video here, then I don't think I'll be anywhere near to where I am as well, obviously here. And I think, I guess I was just more known for Baby Foxy then. I'm guessing I was less known for Baby Foxy back then, but I think I was always, I don't know, really.
What other personal challenges do you have?
Personal challenges I have, as in like how my disabilities affect me.
And what are your disabilities?
My disabilities are Asperger's syndrome, which is basically a mild form of autism. Because of this, I struggle to fully comprehend. Though I think as a follow-up to comprehension, I have another disability called severe dyspraxia. As a result of this, I have a 0.01 processing speed in the brain. And basically what this means here is that it affects how much I could take in all the information that's going on around me here. And it's very slow compared to the average human processing speed in the brain, which is a 50 processing speed on average. So yeah, it's that's particularly challenging for me, as I can't always keep up with everything. And also just physical skills as well, like knife and forks, tying shoelaces, the things like that here.
So how did that affect you when you're actually animating and when you're doing your YouTube channel? I mean, is it frustrating for you, or do you find that side of things actually comes so natural to you?
I think it's one of those things really, because like I'm actually don't really struggle as a result of my disabilities when it comes to doing the actual animating on my videos here, and which I'm not too sure why. Like it has been, I think it is known for people with autism at least to be particularly good with computers. I think I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it or not here. Sorry, you were going to say?
Well, no, I was just going to say that, every single person in this planet is unique. And so, whatever, labels you have on you, anybody, anywhere, you really know what you're good at and what you're natural at. And clearly your channel is showing you that you are natural at creating all this stuff. So despite everything, no one knows anything about you. They've not known about your struggles or your challenges. And this is what you produce. So, it hasn't held you back from that, certainly.
Yeah, I think it's also one of those things because, like, quite a few people might not have as much expectations with people with disabilities here, but that is so not true. You can still do very well in life here, and I'm particularly grateful of YouTube because look, I'm a guy who doesn't even have any GCSEs, and it doesn't necessarily make me dumb. It just makes me clever in different ways. Like,
absolutely.
I can't animate, but I can. This is what I'm good at, and this is what I do for my job.
Yeah, I mean, you're an absolute inspiration, and I really hope that people take on board what you've been through and how you've come out of it with such a successful channel. Like I say, it's just amazing to hear that you haven't let that stop you from growing and building the success you've had, and it will continue, won't it? I think you just have this kind of inner, maybe more determination to make it happen. Who knows? But
maybe.
I'm sure you've probably had friends who sort of say, "Oh, I've got this idea for a channel," but actually not. I mean, you actually have to sort of take that step towards actually getting it done. And that's clearly what you've done. Well, actually, I was thinking, I know that when I started my channel, it started off as a hobby. I've also got the animation channel called MyVoxSongs, which is nursery rhymes for kids. And I did all of that by hand. So I absolutely know how much work and how intense animating is. And also coming up with all the storylines and the actual, everything I've done is draw by hand. So I loved it. It was amazing. It was very therapeutic to create, but then it suddenly changed into a full-time job. I mean, is that kind of what happened with you? Because did it start off as a hobby and then morphed into this kind of job, if you like, or part-time pocket money when you were younger?
Yeah, like I think 3D animations and 2D animations are quite different in the sense that they have different methods. But I mean, just like you, it started off as a hobby. I think just like with a lot of creators on YouTube, it always starts off as a hobby. Well, I hope it starts off as a hobby at least, anyways.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of developed from a hobby into something until it got to a point where it's like, this is actually going pretty well here. And then I continued it here. And yeah, I mean, of course, as with anything, my enthusiasm, slowly drained for what I originally started it for here. But my enthusiasm has always been there for the audience and community that I have built. Yes, it's tough with time management and all that here, but it's also very rewarding as well, and I definitely know that it's.
Do you think your audience, because we don't really see you in your videos, it's all animation. I think do you appear in one or two? You're in a few of the thumbnails, aren't you? But do you think your audience knew back then when you started who you were and how old you were, and you know anything on a personal level about you? You know, did they know anything?
I mean, I always had it in the about section, but
but do you think anyone reads that?
When it comes to
your super fans.
Yeah, maybe my super fans. When it comes to the videos itself here, I didn't really put myself in there too much. When I did put myself in there, I was just usually discussing the progression with the projects I was working on here, or maybe doing a tutorial perhaps. So, I mean, of course I had a voice so people could guess my age perhaps, but otherwise I didn't really give any information, not too much information away about myself back then, and I guess that's much the same now.
Well, I'm quite interested actually, because obviously with lots of kids on YouTube, and especially at that time, you know, they were just getting allowed to get onto it, and you as a kid or a teenager creating a channel, I think they would have, if they knew you were a teenager as well, they would have probably had so much respect for you. You've been like this, like, oh my gosh, you know, just because they always like to have someone to look up to, you know, and you're obviously quite an inspiration for them. Or if they think you're some guy who's like, I don't know, 30 something, then maybe it would be less inspiring. But you as a child, I mean, so maybe it's something that, you know, if they knew about, that would benefit them, because they have no idea really, do they?
Yeah.
You know,
it's an interesting point you bring up there, because of course the closer to the age group of my audience are, then and if they were to know about my age as well, then they could find it a lot more inspiring, like you said, because they can relate to me more here.
Well, completely, I think also, you know, the reason why I was talking about that was because obviously these days you find that most kids want to grow up and they want to be a YouTuber when they grow up. They used to want to be a policeman or a fireman or firefighter, I think they're called these days. And then it turns into the 90s when they wanted to be a pop star or something. Now they want to be a YouTuber, right? But you've been doing this, and so you are the pop star, or the kind of the people that they would really aspire to. Knowing that you're doing this, they feel like, oh my gosh, I could do this too. So as a kind of pro YouTuber, what advice would you give to them, or people who have kids who say, oh, I want to be a YouTuber, mummy or daddy, you know?
I think the advice I'll give to people who want to be a YouTuber is always understand that it's not a guaranteed job here, because YouTube is like, it requires knowledge on how to go about it. It requires skill. It requires a bit of luck here. And even if you were to make a good start here, it's never guaranteed that it would be enough to pay your bills. It's never guaranteed that you will get famous. It's never guaranteed that it puts you in a position where you can continue it for the rest of your life here. So I think it's always good to have in mind to start YouTube off as more of a background hobby here. And if it progresses well enough, then to the point you can make it go full time, then I'd say definitely go for it. I think the other advice I'd give for YouTube as well is to know what you're interested in, know what your community is here, your target audience here, and also know your competitors as well here. And so you can analyze their methods, like what they do in their videos, how often they are active, what words they use in their titles and descriptions, to not necessarily copy them, but maybe use some of their words in their titles and descriptions as in your own titles and descriptions within the context of your video here. Those are just a couple on the top of my head.
That's brilliant. Thanks for those tips. I think they'll definitely help anyone listening who are thinking about starting their channel or improving their channel. I wanted to ask if you have had support from your parents while you were growing up, while you were developing your channel. Have you had much support from them?
Yes, I have had support from my parents here. I actually still use my parents' bank really for all the earnings.
So they're funding your channel at the moment.
I could trust them
Until the right brand comes along, right, Luke?
Yes. Until that right brand comes along, indeed, yeah. They'll be very supportive here. They've been understanding that it's something that could potentially be big here, which I really appreciate because not everyone sees YouTube as a natural thing to take seriously as a job or anything like that here.
Yeah, absolutely.
They also helped me to understand, like, I'm not sure. I did a lot of the learning myself here, but when it comes to more the networking side of things and getting more on top of emails and activities, events that are happening, then I think my mum particularly helped me a lot with that here. She's probably a lot more on top of it than I am here. Actually, what am I saying? Probably she is.
Yeah. So, I think naturally that's amazing that you've had that much support and that whilst you're developing your channel and making all these amazing creations, that you've got someone there to take care of some of the admin really and just to make sure everything's okay, because it can be a bit of a dodgy place really. You're sort of mixing with sort of the whole world at the tips of your fingers, and you want somebody there to sort of filter out what's right, what's wrong, who's who, that kind of thing. It's fantastic that you've had that support.
Oh yeah, definitely. My mum's really helpful with managing those for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, big shout out to your mum there then.
Shout out. Yeah.
So if anyone's listening and their kids are saying that they want to be a YouTuber, just support them.
Well, I think on that note, it's also goes to show that there's no shame in asking any of your family to help. If you have your parents, your brothers, your sisters, and if they can bring anything to the table, then why not get them involved here, really? I mean, the bigger the team, the better, really. There's no shame in it. Multiple YouTubers have their parents involved. I have my parents involved. So why not?
Luke, you've got so much to offer these kids, honestly. They must check your channel out. I'm going to put that link in the podcast notes below when we finish. So what's next for Miffed Crew or Luke?
So I plan on going full-time very soon here. I have gotten through a mainstream course of college, and I think I'm ready to fully develop my business to full-time. Branding / collab. So I know you've already talked a bit about branding. Hope to get on top of those more. The same brings me on the collabs where it's like,
what happens with a collaboration?
So in a collaboration, you find another content creator on YouTube here who can bring something to the table, or maybe you can bring something to their table perhaps, and you team up with them on a project basically that you both work on together. Collabs can be a very good way to bring two creators together, both socially and productively as well. And I think also collabs are very good for getting yourself into other people's audiences here. A strong tip I see on YouTube here and there is to be known in other people's audiences, and if you were to get into a good collab with someone here, work on the project, then you get yourself more publicity that way, and of course the more people you collab with, the more known you'll be across the internet, really, and amongst creators alike.
So that's where you'd like to do a little bit more there. You'd like to find collaborations perhaps for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been wanting to collab for quite a while, and I'm really excited to get collabing here. I've had a few YouTube events where I've met some other creators, and that's been really good for discussing some collaborations. I've already met a few who wanted to collab with me already here quite recently. So, because I hope to evolve into cartooning, but still keeping up what I'm doing on Miffed Crew as well. And I was thinking if I could do well on the cartooning side, then I can maybe and if I also do well enough, bring enough to the table, then I could potentially collab with more cartoonists. When it comes to my current content, though, I can't really think of anything in particular who I like to collab with.
That's
However,
cool.
I'm always open to that here. There are
Yeah.
a few animators out there.
Yeah.
I'm also quite decent on voice acting as well, so I wouldn't mind being a voice cast in some animations.
Oh, that's brilliant. And also you can start yourself, can't you? There's no need. I mean, that's what I love about YouTube. If there's something you want to do as a creator, you just have to go ahead and do it. There is nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
In the good old days, can I say that? But you had to have like an agent for everything. And I think that's, people haven't quite got over those blocks yet. But, you know, if they're an actor and they want to be acting, go set up a YouTube channel and just do little skits. You're the actor. You don't need to be hired. You hire yourself. Yeah, it's all down to you. That's exactly it, Luke. So we're coming to an end now. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You've got so much wisdom, so much YouTube wisdom that people have to take note of. And, you know, I really think you're such an amazing creative force and just like a fantastic inspiration to kids. I mean, there's so many more kids coming on board, and then, you know, they need people like you. So I wish you all the best with this channel, Miffed Crew. Any other projects you're working on?
I did a animation on another video game, not recently, quite a few months ago, which did surprisingly well, actually. So I am currently working on the follow-up chapter to that here, and looking forward to getting that out. Otherwise, for the future, I hope to really get my stories out there here, because I feel I have something to deliver and a unique angle I could take on it. And I think if it's one of those things that if it does well and I can utilize my skills effectively, then I think I got a lot coming my way here. And
you certainly have. I've really enjoyed our conversation, I have to say. It's been amazing. And I just want to wish you all the best for the future of your channel and all your other projects that you've got coming up. And I really hope that everyone out there goes and checks out your channel. Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about as a child growing up on YouTube and being a pro YouTuber. So thanks once again, Luke.
No problem.
If you're looking to rapidly grow your channel but don't know where to start, then join my YouTube Audience Growth Lab, where I take you through the 5 steps to automate your YouTube success so that you can focus on what you love doing most, delivering awesome content and reaching those viewers. The great part is it's available all year round, and I'm offering the first module absolutely free when you sign up today. It's ready and waiting when you are, so now's the time to take action. You can learn more and see what other students are saying by clicking the link in the show notes below. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I did. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.